So Talbi, you've been in MMA for a while now. First thing first, how did you get into MMA, and how was MMA back then?
I got into MMA back in 2005. So yeah, that's 14 years ago. Yeah. It was a completely different sport. I remember when I got into it after training karate for 5 years, which I did because I felt like the competition side of knockdown karate, it was a bit, it wasn't as tactical. It was more about who could take the most punches to the chest, and who was flexible enough to maybe do a high kick here and knockdown. But back then, when that was when MMA kind of got out in Denmark, it was still like the old highlight reels of UFC 1 and 1 through 10, and like Gary Goodrich crucifixing a guy and elbowing him in the head, and stuff like that. But then when I stopped with karate, I was like, can I get good at this? I've never been good at fighting, so that was kind of like a dare for me. And of course, it was an entirely different scene back then. Chuck Liddell was the reigning king of light heavyweight, and I really idolized him back then. So yeah, it was a different time.
So how is the MMA scene in Denmark now, and is it growing in popularity, or how is the scene just as a whole?
I think the scene is on its way up again. I felt like, how long ago is that? That's maybe 7 years ago. We kind of peaked with having 3 bigger events like going at the same time. We had something called Royal Arena, and we had European MMA, and then we had Cage Fight Live, all having events in the same year. I think that was a peak, and we had like 3 different MMA news sites writing in Danish. But then that kind of fizzed out. The events shut down and stuff like that, and of course that had an impact on the sport in Denmark as well. But now with the upcoming Cage Warriors event, March 9th in Copenhagen, which is almost sold out already, like 2,800 people. I think that shows that MMA is on its way up again.
What about local shows and any up-and-coming talent that you're aware of?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one that sticks out, who hasn't really maybe been on the big radar yet, is Jonas Shark Mogård. And yeah, we have some other, Jonas Kurt Nielsen, I think his name is, from Odense. He looks to be very talented as well. Those are probably the 2 names that come to my mind right now that I can think of that haven't really been picked up yet.
We've seen in Brazil there is a shortage on shows there, that fighters are having trouble finding shows to fight on. Is that a problem in Denmark, or are there enough local shows going on?
That's a good question, actually. I haven't been following the local shows in depth, if you can say so. I have many balls in the air and enough on my plate. But my feeling is that it's adequate at the moment.
Your home base is in Denmark, but you've always been traveling as a fighter, right? And how has that impacted your career in learning different techniques and growing as a martial artist?
Well, this is actually my first traveling trip to train specifically. So even though I've been training a lot of years and travel a lot, this is the first time actually that I travel specifically to train. I've been in the States a couple of times in San Diego, but that was back when my head wasn't really in the right place. So even though I went to this awesome place called Studio 540, where a lot of the big guys come through, it wasn't really, I went there to train, but I didn't really pick anything up. So I feel like through my lengthy career, this is actually the first time I'm really going to train.
I see. Your next fight is in Denmark in Cage Warriors, of course, against Alex Lohore. Lohore, okay. What are your thoughts on the matchup against Alex?
It's a cool matchup. Like he, from all the fights I've seen, he's game. He comes to kill. Like he doesn't just come to coast and kind of. He's not a counter striker waiting for something. He comes to put on a fight, and I like that because that's gonna demand even more from me, and it also is gonna leave me some more openings I can exploit.
What can fans expect in Cage Warriors in Denmark? Do you think it's going to be like a crazy atmosphere, or?
Well, that depends on the fans. So that's really up to them. But judging from the fight card, there's going to be a lot of reason to go crazy. So we have 4 top Danish fighters, like probably the best Danish fighters that are not in the UFC, fighting on that card. So absolutely, it's going to be crazy action, and then hopefully the fans is going to be excited and go, woo!
You're now 34 years old. You've already been in the UFC. You're now in Cage Warriors. What is your goal now as a fighter?
It is definitely to come back to UFC. On the road to that is a Cage Warriors interim title, maybe a unification of that title. But I've been pretty clear with my management and Cage Warriors from the get-go that my ultimate goal is to get back in the UFC. And then when I'm back there, my personal goal is to break into the top 10. And I know I can do that. I might be 34 years old, but my body doesn't really feel worn out from all the years of training. I feel like I did when I was, let's say, 28. I haven't really been knocked out in any fights or in training, so head is still good as well. So mentally and physically, I feel up for the task. So now I just need the right setup to do it, and it seems like it's working out.
And finally, this is your first time here in Iceland training. How has it been for you so far, and what are you expecting to see and do here while in Iceland?
It's been amazing so far. We're staying here at the gym, Mjolnir MMA, which is an awesome place, by the way. I'm here to train, so my expectations in regards of sightseeing aren't too high, because it all depends on how fresh I feel on the day. The few days we have for restitution, I might need to just do that, but hopefully I'll get to go out in the wild and go out on the ice and take a look around outside of Reykjavik. And yeah, it's amazing to see all the mountains and all the ice, because Denmark is flat as a pancake, and we get snow maybe once a year, and then it stays for 2 days and then it's gone again. So coming up here and seeing this scenery and climate is exceptional. I really like it.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you.